After that night, I understood one thing. Progress isn't a straight line. It's a jagged path. Sometimes forward, sometimes backward, sometimes standing still. And the only thing that kept me from going back to the starting point was Rocco. But that also scared me, because I was starting to depend on him. You're thinking too much. Rocco's voice pulled me out of my thoughts as we sat on the library steps. I always do. Yeah, but this time it's obvious. I didn't answer. Is it about me? Rocco asked. I glanced at him. You think you're that important? I do. I laughed. At least you're honest. Always. A moment of silence. I looked down at my hands. What if one day you're not here anymore? The question slipped out as light as the wind, but once it was said, I realized how heavy it really was. Rocco didn't answer right away. I'm not going anywhere, he said. No one stays forever, I replied. Are you trying to get rid of me? I'm preparing. A long silence. Preparing to lose me? Rocco asked. I didn't answer, because that was exactly what I was doing. I'm not your solution, Rocco said. I looked up. What? I don't want you to only be okay when I'm here, he continued. You have to be okay, even when I'm not. My heart tightened. I'm trying, I said. I know. But I haven't managed it yet. Not yet, Rocco emphasized. Not never. I looked at him. You believe in me that much? Rocco smiled faintly. I see how far you've already come. A simple sentence, but it made me soften. In the days that followed, I started trying something new, not touching Rocco, but being near other people. In class, in the hallway, in the cafeteria. No hiding, no dodging, just being there. It was hard, really hard, but I did it, little by little. One time, a classmate handed me a piece of paper. Our hands brushed, just for a second. My body tensed, but I didn't pull away immediately. No panic, just breathing. Thanks, I said. The other person smiled. They didn't notice anything. But for me, it was a victory. That night I told Rocco. I told you, he smiled. You could do it. I'm still scared. Being scared doesn't mean you have to stop. I know. A moment of silence. Rocco? Yeah. Do you ever get scared? He thought for a second. Yeah. Of what? Rocco looked at me. Losing the people who matter. My heartbeat skipped. Like who? He didn't answer right away. He just looked at me. And in that moment, I understood. No words needed. I won't disappear, I said. Rocco smiled softly. You don't have to promise. But I want to. A moment of silence. Then, don't disappear. We sat there. But something had changed. Not just the distance, but the way we looked at each other. And then, everything became more complicated. Because I realized I didn't just trust Rocco. I liked him. Not in a friend way. Not in an acquaintance way. But in the way that made my heart beat faster when he smiled. Made me miss him when he wasn't around. Made me want to be close. Even though I was still scared. I hated it. Because this feeling came with something else. Desire. And desire always came with touch. Something I still wasn't ready for. You're quiet again. Rocco's voice pulled me back to reality. I'm thinking about me. Yeah. Rocco raised an eyebrow. That sounds dangerous. I looked at him. My heart raced. I could say it. Could. Right now. But I wasn't sure I was ready. It's nothing. I turned away, cowardly. But Rocco didn't push. Like always. "Stellan," he called. "What?" "I'm here." A simple sentence. But this time, it didn't just mean safety anymore. It also meant danger. Because if I kept going, I wouldn't just learn how to touch other people. I would learn how to love. And that could break me or save me. I tried to pretend nothing had changed, as if realizing I liked Rocco was just a passing thought. But my body didn't know how to lie. It betrayed me in tiny ways, like noticing him more, the way Rocco smiled, the way he furrowed his brow when he concentrated, the way he unconsciously tapped his fingers on the table when thinking. And the worst part was how much I wanted to touch him, not the experimental way like before, but to hold his hand, to pull him closer, to feel him more clearly. I hated it, because every time that thought appeared, fear followed right behind, like a shadow. "You're staring at me." I startled. Rocco was leaning back in his chair, looking at me with a half smile. "I'm not." "You are." "No." "Yes." I turned away. "Fine." Rocco laughed. "See?" I sighed. "You're annoying. But you're still here." I stayed silent, because he was right. We were in the library, like always, but today, something felt different. The air, the eye contact, or maybe it was just me. "Stellan?" "What? Is there something you want to tell me?" My heart stopped. "No." "A lie?" Rocco said nothing. He just looked at me. No pressure. No extra questions. But that very silence made me more uncomfortable. "Why did you ask?" I spoke up. "Because you're holding something in," Rocco answered. "And I'm guessing it's about me." I clenched my fists. He always saw too much. "If I say it," I began, "everything might change." Rocco tilted his head. "Change how?" "I don't know." "Then, just say it." I let out a dry laugh. "Easy for you to say." "Yeah," Rocco shrugged, "because I'm not the one who's scared." I looked at him. "You're not scared?" Rocco was quiet for a moment. "I am," he said, "but I still say it." A moment of silence. My heart raced. I could feel it. This moment, if I spoke, nothing would be the same. But if I didn't, I'd stay trapped. "I like you." The words fell between us. Light, but heavy. So heavy. I didn't dare look up. Didn't dare see his reaction. 1 second. 2 seconds. 3 seconds. No laughter. No teasing. Just silence. "I know." I looked up. "What?" Rocco smiled faintly. "I'm not blind." I felt my face heat up. "Then why didn't you say anything?" "Because I wanted you to say it first." I didn't know how to feel, and I asked. Rocco looked at me, longer than usual, like he was weighing something. "I like you too." My heart stopped, or at least felt that way. "You." But Rocco cut in. One word, and it pulled me back to the ground. "But I don't want to scare you." I froze. "What do you mean?" Rocco exhaled. "If we go further," he said slowly, "there'll be a lot more touching involved." My chest tightened. "I don't want you to feel pressured," he continued, "or forced to cross your limits, just because of me." I didn't answer, because he was right. "But I want to," I said. Rocco looked at me. "Are you sure?" "No," I said honestly, "but I want to try." A moment of silence. Rocco leaned forward slightly. "Stellan," he said, "if we do this, we do it at your pace." My heart raced. Not mine. Not anyone else's. I nodded. Yeah. And you have to be honest with me, Rocco added. If you're not okay, you say it. Immediately. Okay. Rocco looked at me. Can I try something? My heart sped up again. What? He didn't answer right away. He just, slowly, reached out his hand. Not touching, just stopping. In the space between us, waiting, I looked at his hand, heart pounding. But this time, it wasn't only fear. There was also anticipation. I reached out, touched his hand, lightly. Then, Rocco gently closed his fingers. A handhold. My body tensed. But I didn't pull away. I squeezed back, very lightly. And in that moment, I realized touch was no longer just fear. It was also a way to feel, a way to connect, a way to be close to the person I liked. And this time, I didn't want to let go. I don't remember how long I held Rocco's hand. I only knew I didn't want to let go. That was what scared me. Not the touch itself, not the feeling, but the fact that I wanted it. You're thinking again. Rocco's voice pulled me back. I blinked, looked down. Our hands were still holding. I pulled away immediately. Too fast. Sorry, I said. Rocco shook his head. Don't apologize. You didn't do anything wrong. I clenched my own hand. I just scared, Rocco suggested. I nodded. But not only that. Rocco tilted his head. You liked it. Not a question. I didn't answer, but I didn't deny it. That's not a bad thing, Rocco said gently. I know. But you're still scared. Yeah. A moment of silence. We don't have to rush, Rocco said. We can stop here. I looked at him. Are you okay with that? Rocco shrugged. I've waited this long. Waiting a little more is fine. Those words made my heart ache a little. Don't wait, I said. Rocco frowned. What do you mean? I don't want you to have to wait for me forever. Rocco looked at me. Stellan, I choose to wait. I stayed silent. You're not a burden, he continued. Don't turn yourself into one. I laughed dryly. Easy for you to say. Yeah, Rocco nodded, but I'll still say it. We started dating. Not officially. No grand confession. Just, we knew. And that was enough. Our dates weren't like other people's. No hand-holding in public. No hugs hello. No casual touches. But there were other things. Want to watch a movie? Where? My room. I froze. Private space. Okay. I said. That night, I went to Rocco's room. His room was neater than I expected. One bed, one desk, one chair, and a small space between the bed and the desk. You can sit anywhere, Rocco said. I chose the chair. Safe. Rocco sat on the bed. The distance between us was still there. We turned on the movie, an action film, but I couldn't focus. I felt his presence. Close. Aren't you watching? Rocco asked. I am. You haven't looked at the screen in 5 minutes. I sighed. I'm thinking. About me. Yeah. Rocco smiled faintly. Can I sit closer? My heart raced. A little. Rocco moved. Slowly. Centimeter by centimeter. He stopped. Not too close. I could still breathe. Okay? He asked. Yeah. We kept watching. A little later, Rocco's hand rested on the bed, near mine, not touching, just near. I looked, heart pounding. Then, I moved my hand, touched his. This time, I initiated. Rocco said nothing. He just turned his hand over, held mine. My body tensed. But I didn't pull away. I squeezed gently. "You're doing really well," Rocco whispered. I smiled faintly. "Don't talk to me like I'm a kid." "You're not," Rocco said. "But you're learning." I didn't argue, because he was right. The movie kept playing. But I don't remember the plot. I only remember that hand. Warm, steady, and safe. A little later, I leaned my head lightly on Rocco's shoulder. I didn't think, didn't analyze. I just did it. My body went rigid, waiting for the panic. But it didn't come. Rocco didn't move, didn't hug me back. He just stayed there, giving me time. "I'm leaning on you," I whispered. "Yeah. I'm still okay." "Yeah." His voice was as soft as a breath, and for the first time, I wasn't just touching. I was leaning, trusting, and that made me realize I wasn't alone anymore. I fell asleep on Rocco's shoulder. I don't remember when I drifted off. I only know that when I woke up, everything was so quiet I could hear my own heartbeat. No panic. I opened my eyes. The room was darker. The movie had ended long ago. The screen glowed with a faint blue light. And I was still leaning on Rocco. My body stiffened, not from fear, but because I realized I had fallen asleep while touching someone else. That had never happened before. "You're awake?" Rocco's voice was very soft. I lifted my head. He was still sitting still, not moving, as if afraid of waking me. "Yeah," I answered. A moment of silence. How long was I asleep?" "About an hour." I blinked. "An hour?" "Yeah." "And you didn't push me away?" Rocco smiled faintly. "I'm not stupid." I frowned. "If I did that, you might never come back here again." I didn't deny it. "Thank you." Rocco didn't answer right away. He just looked at me. "You don't have to thank me for that." I moved off his shoulder. Not quickly, but something was different. I didn't want to leave. "Stellan?" "What?" "Can I try something?" My heart fluttered. "What?" Rocco didn't answer right away. He just slowly raised his hand, stopped near my face, not touching, waiting. I looked at his hand, heart racing, but I didn't pull back. "You want to touch me?" I asked. "Only if you let me." A familiar sentence, but this time, the meaning was different. I swallowed. "Where?" Rocco hesitated slightly. "Your cheek," he said. "Or we don't have to." I stayed silent. Cheek, not hand, not shoulder. Closer, more sensitive, more dangerous. But I didn't say no. "Okay." Very softly, but enough. Rocco didn't rush. He moved closer. Little by little, I could feel his warmth. The distance closed. My heart pounded hard. But I didn't run. Not this time. Then his fingertips touched my cheek, so lightly, as if I might shatter if he used even a little more pressure. My body froze, but no panic, just tension. "Stellan?" "I'm okay." My voice trembled slightly, but it was true. His fingers moved, very slowly, just a little, along my cheekbone. I closed my eyes, not to hide, but to feel it more clearly. No bad memories, no fear crashing in, just the feeling, warm, soft, real. "That's enough," I whispered, not because I was scared, but because I needed to stop before it became too much. Rocco pulled his hand back immediately. Not slow, no hesitation, respectful. I opened my eyes, looked at him. Rocco was looking at me like he had just witnessed something important. I didn't hate it, I said. The words surprised even me. Rocco smiled. Not wide, just enough for me to see. I know. We sat there, not touching, but we didn't need to anymore, because I had taken another step, not just with my body, but with my heart. And for the first time, I thought, maybe I could love someone without being afraid of being touched. After that night, everything didn't go back to how it was. It moved forward another step. Not loud, not sudden, but clear. I started getting used to being touched, not by everyone, only by Rocco, but that was more than enough. You've changed. I looked up from my book. Rocco was watching me, his eyes half teasing, half serious. What do you mean? You don't flinch anymore when someone walks past. I thought for a second. Maybe. Not maybe. Rocco shrugged. Definitely. I looked down at my hands. They no longer shook like before. No longer clenched every time someone came close. I'm still scared, I said. Yeah, Rocco nodded. But you don't let it control you anymore. I didn't answer, because I knew exactly who I had to thank for that. I'm proud of you. Those words warmed my heart. Don't say it like I just did something huge. For you, it is. I smiled faintly. We kept dating, in our own way, carefully. One time, we were walking around campus. Sunny day, light breeze. Rocco walked beside me. The distance was no longer as far as before. His hand brushed mine lightly. Accidentally, I froze, heart racing. But I didn't pull away. I looked down. Then I reached out first and laced our fingers together. Rocco froze. You sure? He asked. Yeah. My voice was soft, but certain. He squeezed gently, and we kept walking, in broad daylight, in front of everyone. No hiding, no dodging, just holding hands. My heart raced, but not from fear, from doing something I once believed I would never be able to do. Stellan? What? I really like you like this. I smiled faintly. I'm always here. No. Rocco shook his head. This version of you. I didn't answer, but I understood. Time passed, day by day, week by week. I stopped counting how many times I touched Rocco, because started to feel natural. A handhold, a shoulder lean, a light touch on the arm. Each one was a victory, but more importantly, I no longer feared those victories. One evening, we sat on the familiar steps. It was cold. I pulled my jacket tighter. Rocco looked at me. You cold? I'm fine. Liar again. I smiled faintly. Rocco hesitated for a moment. Then, do you want to try something? My heart skipped. Try what? Rocco didn't answer right away. He just opened his arms slightly. An invitation. I looked. I understood. A hug. Before, just the thought would have sent me into panic. But now, I stood there, thinking, scared, but not running. Okay. Very softly, Rocco didn't rush. He stepped closer, slowly, little by little, giving me time. Then, he wrapped his arms around me, not tight, just holding. My body went rigid, heart racing, breathing fast, but no panic, no memories, just warmth and a feeling of safety. I stood there, not moving. Then, slowly, I placed my hands on his back, hugging him back, a full hug. I'm hugging you, I whispered. Yeah, Rocco answered. I'm still okay. Yeah. His voice was gentle, and in that moment, I realized how far I had come. From someone who couldn't stand even a light touch, to someone who could hug the person I liked, without fear, without running, just staying. I squeezed a little tighter, and for the first time, I was no longer the person who couldn't be touched. I was the person who could love and be loved.